Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between RenieHour and Mio here on Metalopolis. Here we have MioWerra spawning as the yellow Terran player, and here we have RenieHour doing some very interesting openings now. Okay, so RenieHour opening up with a very early probe scout in both directions. Now the only thing that I can think of with this early probe scout is some sort of cheese play. Back over here you do see that MioWerra is currently just going to be minding his own business as this probe now going to be heading over. Now what exactly is RenieHour going to try to do? Does he gain sight? Yeah, he does see that. Oh, I believe that was a little bit... Okay, I need to rewind that. Okay, so here you're going to see this probe now walk up the ramp and gain sight. Now, if you take a look for just a moment, all he did was gain sight on a mineral patch. He did not want to be revealed by the SCV. So what it looked like was that probe was going to do some sort of cheese play, perhaps throw down a pylon and then a forge for some early harassment. Now we see MioWerra throwing on a supply depot here, and back over here now we see RenieHour moving back with this probe. So it looked like there was going to be some sort of cheese attempt coming in from RenieHour, perhaps some sort of cannon rush. Now that is one of the things you can keep track of. Whenever a mineral patch is currently being mined, it gets those little blue flames that come off the top of them. So you can take a look at those blue flames, and as long as you gain sight of the mineral patch, or actually click on the mineral patch and see that's been depleted, you will figure out where your opponent's spawning location is. But this isn't this game. There was no sort of cheese play so far. So MioWerra just opening up with a standard barracks over here. Meanwhile, back in the base of RenieHour throwing down a standard gateway as well. Production wise, I do not think that RenieHour will be too far behind. He will be able to use that chrono boost and start producing additional probes. You can already see quickly catching up to 13 harvesters. Also, SCVs are currently building these two buildings over here, so they're unable to mine. That is already why RenieHour has the economic advantage. Now, as this pylon is completed, we should probably see, it looks as though yet another pylon going to be placed down over here, and continuing the chrono boost as well. We do see an SCV scout now already on the move, trying to make sure that there is no proxy pylon, no sort of cheese tactics coming in anywhere, as this SCV going to go ahead and start scouting in the clockwise direction. And RenieHour, if I didn't say this earlier, started off at the 6 o'clock location. Meanwhile, Mio spawning at the 8 o'clock position here on Metalopolis. We do see the assimilator currently being mined, and we also see the cybernetics core currently being built as well. So we should see some early stalkers. By the time that this cybernetics core is done, we should probably see a stalker already trained or just about to come over here, as it takes some time for this SCV to run around this ramp and come into this direction. So harvester wise, we already see that RenieHour caught up, is now sitting at 19/16. However, we should be seeing mules now being called down. Yeah, mule is going to be called down in order to mine from these blue minerals much more quickly. One mule mining as fast as, I believe, 6 SCVs, and now we see a factory being laid down. Back over here we do see a racks, and now no tech lab. So there's not going to be any sort of Reaper or Marauder play, just more and more Marines now being trained. SCV now on its way over, going to be coming over here, as we now have a probe in the middle of the map, and going to be placing down a pylon over here, hidden by this high ground. We do see one stalker in this position right here, and this SCV will be able to come up this ramp, quickly see that there's a robotics facility on this ramp as well. So most likely we should be seeing some sort of observer or a mortal play in just a moment. Kind of curious as to how RenieHour is going to utilize this sort of proxy pylon in the center of the map. And now we have a Stargate. Okay, so we're going to have a proxy Stargate, and the robotics facility was canceled. So with that robotics facility canceled, it looks as though MioWerra may be running into some sort of trap, into some sort of mind game right now. MioWerra, however, is throwing down a bunker, and we'll have some Marines in that bunker in just a moment. So any sort of front door push with stalkers will be able to hold off for quite some time. We do see one probe activating the Zonaga watchtower, and now a reactor being placed down by this factory. We should start seeing double training of Hellions in just a moment. And now, as soon as we see double Hellions, that means that we will probably have a run on the economic mineral patches of RenieHour. All of these harvesters may get taken down by just a few of those Hellions. over here we do see a starport already training and building up a medevac, so that medevac will be able to pick up 4 Hellions and then do a drop over here. However, we now see 2 stalkers already on the move, and we see a void ray now being chrono boosted as well. So RenieHour now chrono boosting that void ray will be able to perhaps get a little bit of harassment. I don't think it's really going to work, as there are a lot of Marines with bunkers. However, a pylon now being warped in. Taking a look at the warp gate research, it has already been completed. Warp gates should be able, yeah, we're going to be upgrading to warp gates in just a moment. Marines now coming off, going to try to take down these 2 pylons over here. But however, we should see, yes, a 1 void ray going to be able to gain sight onto these Marines over here, and we see a void ray now charging up on this wolf statue. So this wolf statue quickly getting charged up, and now that void ray is fully charged, we'll be able to warp in units. However, we do see Hellions now in the base of RenieHour, so those Hellions are going to try to take down some of these probes. Probes are going to be forced to pull back as we have void rays and stalkers now dealing damage over here. This Viking starport a little bit too far out of the way, as another reactor going to get taken down. Marines shooting down, quickly taking down one of these stalkers over here as this fight continues. This void ray, a glass cannon, and the 1 Marine trying to fight back, and more units continuing to be warped in. We now have, what, 5 stalkers on this high ground, as this void ray is somehow able to keep this prismatic beam fully charged, continuing to fight 1 bunker and very much empty, as this void ray down to 32 hit points. Marines jumping inside for that +1 range, and now this barracks is definitely in trouble, going to be forced to lift off and try to pull back next to and behind this bunker here. However, this void ray is now starting to recharge its shields fully. Once again, we do have some Hellions now coming back as well. Stargate finally getting a Viking, so that Viking should be able to shoot down this very low hit point void ray. However, there are a decent amount of stalkers right next to it, so those stalkers may be able to take down that Viking just in time. That Viking not really doing anything, not quite sure, and that Viking did not try to engage that void ray, so that void ray is still recharging its shield. 1 Viking very low on hit points, now going after that void ray down to 20 hit points. Will it get shot down? No. Viking taken down, as these SCVs are just idle looking around. We do see 1 medevac trying to heal up more and more of these units. SCVs coming off the line, trying to deal damage towards these stalkers. However, this 1 void ray at 8 hit points still able to stay within this game, dealing damage towards SCVs, and now going after the factory here. SCVs now trying to pull out. However, they are going to get destroyed by these stalkers and this 1 void ray in the air. That 1 void ray, the hero unit, getting almost 20 kills so far. Back over here in the base, RenieHour is not currently mining. We see both sides currently sitting at 3 harvesters, 1 probe sitting over here. Both sides very low on minerals. Perhaps RenieHour could start warping in sentries if he wants to. 1 Viking, however, 1 Viking with that range should be able to shoot down this void ray. However, the Viking is not engaging, and oh, what a misplay there. MioWerra just losing that Viking very needlessly. And now, as this void ray moves around the map, may be able to focus and take down this last orbital command, and MioWerra says GG. So a crazy game here on Metalopolis. What looked like it was going to be a very early game of cheese with some sort of cannon rush and using a mineral search, quickly turned into a robotics facility, which was cancelled, into a proxy Stargate with void rays. Very nice use of this pylon, warping in onto that high ground. A lot of players are constantly aware of Stalker Blink. You have to be careful of Stalker Blink on Metalopolis, but however, RenieHour is using a pylon and then warping units onto that high ground. So by warping that unit onto that high ground, he was able to give cover to his void ray. That void ray was able to deal so much damage. I believe it got at least 20 kills. Where is that void ray? Down over here. Yeah, that void ray getting 21 kills in only 7 minutes of gameplay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Mio and RenieHour here on Metalopolis.